Business Bites with Invest Northern Ireland. Go further and grow stronger with Invest NI. Visit investni.com/export to reach your exporting potential. Invest NI. Go further and grow stronger.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Business Bites. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And each week we delve into the world of business. This week it is fantastic to welcome my guest, Judith Neill. Judith is the General Manager of the Pinnacle Growth Group. Judith, welcome to Business Bites.
Thank you, David. Nice to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here as our guest this week, and we're really keen to find out all about Pinnacle Growth Group. It sounds like it's got a good mission from the title of the company. It's all about growth. But before we get into that, just give us a brief potted history of Pinnacle Growth Group, how we got to where we are today.
Great, David. So Pinnacle Growth Group have just celebrated their 5-year anniversary. So we're the ripe old age of 5. The business was founded by Scott King and Robert McConnell 5 years ago when they felt that they had something to add to the world of consultancy to help businesses to grow. And we feel one of our missions is to offer straightforward and honest advice to help businesses grow and to add value along the way. So 5 years ago, it was founded with just the 2 of them, and we have now grown to a team of 15 headcount with an associate model. So we're growing exponentially and want to help our clients to grow with us. I joined just short of a year and a half ago as head of business growth, and after 6 months was actually promoted to general manager. Think probably wanted to be involved in everything and help lead my team to helping the clients that we work with on a day and daily basis. So we're a team of business consultants, but with a depth and breadth of different experiences. So from legal experience to engineers, to English graduates, to people who have worked in the public sector, who have worked on the other side of funding, right through to myself, who has general business experience, and all other external extra aspects as well.
Fantastic. Sounds like a very busy operation. So give us an idea of the kind of the sort of geography that you deal with. So is it just here or is it further afield?
No, we're based in Lisburn. In our offices, we've actually just expanded and doubled the size of our premises, but we deal with clients in Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, and across the whole of GB. Most of our clients are in Northern Ireland, but it is growing in all other areas as our presence gets known and the recommendations come from clients we've worked with. So as I say, we're currently doing a lot of work with clients over in London, and that area of our experience is growing.
So it's a kind of a bit of a minefield to someone who's not involved in this area of trying to expand and get funding, and it just to me seems like quite a headache. And I presume that the Pinnacle Growth Group tries to reduce the levels of headaches for businesses in this area. So let's get into the detail. What kind of organizations do you work with, and what solutions are you providing? Give us a couple of examples of how you operate on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis.
Okay, we work with a diverse range of clients, so we're completely agnostic in who we work with. However, what we do, as you say, is take the pain away in applying for the funding. So there is various fundings, many different organizations which offer funding to different clients. And what we do is we liaise with the funders. We then help the clients to access which type of funding is best for their business, but not only best for their business now, also we plan it out for them in the future to make sure that the growth of their company is aligning with the funding that we feel that they should avail of. So once we've got experience with the client and really got to understand their business, we pride ourselves in being very bespoke and really embedding ourselves in their business, understanding their values and what they need to grow. We then point out and map out the funding that's available to them. We explain the pitfalls, the benefits. We explain whether it's some of the funding is 100% funded, some of the funding is 50% or less. And we explain what's best for them at that time. And then we'll also liaise with the funders with them. We either take that pain away totally, or we collaborate with them. And we then also will fill out the applications. They are a minefield, and they ask very specific questions. It's very important to get the narrative right. It's very important. Sometimes they're hard to understand. And when businesses are very much working in the business, it's often very difficult to work on the business and really be able to understand how those applications can really fit with what their needs are. So we help with the narrative. We make sure the questions are answered fully, concisely, and to the point. That age-old question that we all remember from examinations in the past of just answer the question. And sometimes that's not easy to do when you're not doing it day and daily. But we work with all the different funders, both in Northern Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland, and across GB, and use our knowledge and expertise to ensure that those applications are completed to the best, so giving the clients the best chance of success. Examples, we have helped companies get funding of over $1 million towards staff costs. We've, if they're doing huge expansion, we have helped companies access, one particular company recently, up $500,000 on a machine that they were looking for. So in total, we have helped companies raise over 16 million pounds towards their growth, facilitating over 600 jobs as part of the growth in Northern Ireland.
Fantastic. That's great. So I presume then you're dealing with, in terms of the businesses, large businesses right down to startups that are coming in fresh from zero. So, let's just talk a little bit about startups. What are the current challenges right now as you see it? You're right there with them at the beginning, or certainly near the beginning. What are you seeing in the sort of startup space at the minute?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for startups because they've got great ideas. They're trying desperately to access funding, and they're accessing different types of funding. Sometimes it's external funding models. A lot of companies are traveling off to foreign fields to try and get funding. But for startups companies, it's not easy. But it's also quite often they're quite entrepreneurial. So understanding their exact needs and demands, and making sure that, again, they're going for some of the correct types of funding that will actually, and sometimes it's very easy to look for the big pots of money, but often those big pots necessarily are sort of only partially funded. So sometimes it's more applicable and more timely to look for the smaller funding opportunities, get that under their belts and get walking before they run, and then progress onto the bigger pots of money. But it is a competitive field out there now, and all funds have become more and more competitive, and it's just understanding that whole journey and taking it one step at a time as well, making sure as well that you've got all your information. Often we'll have clients that will come to us and they want to access a pot of funding, which is maybe the application maybe closes in 2 to 3 weeks, but they haven't got the information ready. So quite often it's useful for us, if we take on a client, we would get a real good understanding of the business, so that when some of these opportunities open, we're ready to go, because they often close in a couple of weeks. There's some funds that are open continuously, but some that open periodically with short closing dates. So again, it's making sure that you're ready when the fund opens.
Yeah, great advice. Did you find, just briefly, because we're coming to the end of our conversation, but did you find that throughout the pandemic and the sort of challenged period for businesses, there's always this narrative that you hear anecdotally, a lot more startups start in a time of difficulty for businesses. Did you see that here in our part of the world? Did you see more of these types of entrepreneurs appearing either during or straight off the back of the challenged period around COVID?
Yeah, I think people changed what they wanted to do in life quite often. So we're coming up with ideas, but also I think there was a lot more sort of community groups discussing how they could get the new opportunities took moving. So I think there were a lot more startups, but I think that the key thing is that the startup business is wonderful, but it's making that journey and ensuring that they progress and don't give up at the first hurdles, and sometimes accessing funding and bringing a company in who can help at that time makes it very useful.
Well, Judith, it's been absolutely fascinating catching up with you today, and thank you for telling us the story of the Pinnacle Growth Group. It sounds like you're really making a difference there, helping people to get further forward and to grow. Ultimately, the clue's in the title of the company. But thank you for being our guest this week. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Business Bites with Invest Northern Ireland. Go further and grow stronger with Invest NI. Visit investni.com/export to reach your exporting potential. Invest NI. Go further and grow stronger.